you are recording. Okay. I did I resigned from Homegrown, by the way.
Oh, well, we can talk about that. It was on the list.
Maybe I'm not as interesting anymore.
It's on my-
Resigned from Homegrown.
No, resigning from Homegrown is more interesting.
Yeah, wait a minute. You're not on the committee?
I resigned.
Get the fuck out of
Outta
here.
here.
We don't need you anymore. That was your purpose.
Exactly. See, I'm no longer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I suppose
I don't
should.
care. I'm glad it's not me.
Is it a family? Yeah, family friendly.
We
so.
wondered about that. We've
Yeah.
been trying.
I mean, if it happens, it's
Yeah,
easy
well,
enough.
it should. Yeah, I don't. I'll be tasteful.
No, we can untastefully adjust with sound effects, and the sound of smelt,
Yeah.
getting caught in a net. Whoosh.
I don't think that's a very good sensor sound.
No,
No.
what do you like?
Well, I'm a fan of the standard bleep.
Oh, you don't want a sound of a smelt getting caught in a net?
I just don't feel like it's effective at dampening other sounds. You know.
Well, it was just a total replacement.
Oh, just total replacement. So just like
Yeah.
oh. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes. Well, I'll give it a whirl. Let's see what happens.
Or how about this? Around the table, give your best sound effect for catching a smelt in a net.
That was exactly what I was gonna do.
Let's hear
Oh, yeah.
yours.
You had a lot less enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
less
no, I'm not
enthusiasm.
enthusiastic. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what a smelt is.
It's a fish. Oh wow! I suppose
And,
you're not from, yeah.
I've heard of the smelt parade
that's
many
it.
times.
I'm in the same boat as you.
but yeah, I'm not from up here. And
I am from up here, and I'm just.
oh, well, so you don't. So that's my.
Yeah.
Process metal.
I'm probably the
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, that's what I
do
thought.
both,
Yeah.
but
I knew that
assuming
difference.
it's a
I'm probably the only one here that actually remembers going smelting as a kid when
Yeah.
you would take a 5-gallon bucket, or you would take a bucket and so much smelt would come running through it would pull you in.
Oh wow.
But do you
So-
really remember, or did you just wake up with a bunch of smelt that you
All the
gotta
above.
clean
All the
and
above.
wondered about how old they've been?
It was during
sitting
one of his
there?
blackouts.
Right?
Full life, though.
What?
It's a full life.
Yeah, it's a full life.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your smelt?
Mine would be because I did it with a bucket.
Let's hear it.
It was more like a because the smell would hit the
Oh.
bucket as opposed to a net.
Can we get one more version of that?
Like
You
that?
got claps. You got no claps.
Oh, no claps.
Only face mouth.
Okay.
Do it. You're a nightmare.
I'm just kidding.
Well, so
What's your version?
well, I wouldn't even begin to know what the sound should be, but are we allowed if we make the sound with our face? Are we allowed to use our hands? Is that?
I guess we didn't set the rules, but
No.
since we
We're
started
setting
with
the
no hands, it's kind of like on a card game with Grandma Edna or whatever. It's like, well, she doesn't remember the rules, so we'll just start with these rules.
Yeah, your grandma Edma
Yeah, my grandma.
in this
Who am I?
situation.
Who are you kids?
It
Oh,
happens.
Hold on.
Well, anyway, I was gonna just go,
Oh, that's
But
good.
like-
That's really good.
but it involves.
What are
it
you
involves
doing
the-
with those smelt though?
Just throwing them in a bucket. Or
My sound
something.
be like, oh, I got smelt in the net.
It's just them being
Oh.
plopped
You want the
in.
truth?
Then he gets popped.
Yeah,
Then he just
yeah.
grab one and eat it raw. Just throw it right
Is that
down.
what you
Yep.
do? You eat them
That was
raw?
a big deal.
That's what I thought.
It's
Yeah.
like
Well,
Wilson
a lot
on
of people would
Cast
fry
Iron.
'em and-
Can't come back to
Yeah, wow.
society. He knows too much.
I do have photos I found recently of being at Sir Ben's with pretty much space carpet with
Yeah,
Jen
yeah.
West and Rory Isaacson, and Josh comes out with a bucket of smelt and goes,
Mm-hmm.
I have too many smelt. I heard you guys might like them. And we just took them and had a smelt fry at Rory Isaacson's
Oh,
house.
fun.
And that
Okay.
was a great place to do it.
You fried them up and
It's
everything.
so much
or
better
were-
than
were
doing
they
it at my
already
house
fried?
because, yeah, so we were chopping them up out, out the back door.
Yeah.
And several friends did bite the heads off.
Oh.
We did that.
Got to do that.
See, that's another example. Like I've said this before many times that moving up to northern Minnesota, and I've been lucky enough to like live in a bunch of places around the world, and that I've had more culture shock living here.
Really?
More
Yeah.
culture
That is-
shock.
The most
More
surprising
culture
thing I've ever
shock
heard.
here than like Australia or
Oh.
like it's
More-
just wild.
Worse than Australia.
Well, it's so much. There's so many unique aspects to the culture in northern Minnesota that I've learned over the years, and smelting is just another piece of that.
Do you think it's because so many different cultures immigrated? Or
I think because of the
migrated here?
history of this area, it was a superhighway. There were so many different cultures up here that
Right.
that combined over the years, along with the Ojibwe and the Dakota
Right.
and everything.
Right.
So
And the
it's just-
Finnish.
Oh yeah,
gosh,
definitely the Finnish, the French, the British. There was just people from all walks of life.
That was on my list. I forget where you moved from. East Coast.
Well,
or
I moved.
something?
I was in Denver before here, but I'm from Illinois, so I moved here
Illinois.
basically from Denver to Virginia. I skipped. I was in Illinois shortly when my daughter was born, but my daughter's mom and I moved basically from Denver to.
He was a firefighter.
Yeah.
I just realized
Yeah.
we've never even talked about what we're talking about.
That's okay.
And
I
no
didn't
one
mean to
knows who
interrupt.
we're
I didn't-
talking
You
about.
didn't even
I-
introduce any.
No,
of
it's
them.
I
I didn't mean to
No, no,
derail
no,
that.
no,
I just
no,
thought
no,
it was
no, no,
interesting.
no.
to
No,
swap
I
it
just thought of
together.
that. It's like
It's good. It's
at
good.
some
Keep
point
going
we
into it.
should.
Yeah, well, if
you know.
when it lulls back down, then you that's when you do it. Yeah.
All right, we'll lull.
It
Let's
happens.
lull. Let's do an artificial
Yeah.
lull.
We're
Well-
trying to make the editing easy on him.
Wow.
Well, anyway,
Sleep deprivation.
there was the lull. Did you
There's
see
the
that? Did
lull.
you hear the
that
lull?
was the lull.
Wow.
So welcome to episode 4 of the Wussow's podcast. As per usual, we'll just go around the room and introduce ourselves, get everyone accustomed to who our voices are. I'm Terry.
I'm Jason.
I'm Steve.
Adam.
Scott.
And we're all friends now.
I like it, and I like that everyone's on a first name basis.
Yeah, we don't
Me
need
and
last names. or
Steve
anything.
Solkela with his populated one man band. Adam Herman from the Slamming Doors.
Yeah.
Published author as well.
Yeah.
Scott Lillo that has some secret news he's going to unveil.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Terry Johnson. Oh my gosh, you'll have to look up all the stuff, and we'll put notes in the
You
podcast
won't
to get all the
believe how
links from the
disappointed you'll be.
his new podcast, Adam's new podcast,
Yeah.
old podcast,
Many
books, music, debauchery, stories, worst food ever at a gig, whatever we can come up with.
Yeah. Ooh, they've all been so good.
Or what's the best?
Oh, actually, yeah. If they've all been so
No,
good,
they
what's-
haven't been. They've
Oh.
all been terrible.
I'm
Oh.
curious. What's the best backstage food anyone's ever had?
Ooh.
I have a really good story about this actually, and it
Ah.
wasn't my backstage food, but I was at the Discovery Center in where is that? Chisholm,
Yep.
Yeah.
that big amphitheater,
Oh, the
And,
Iron
the
World.
outdoor
Iron
one.
World.
Iron World.
and
Yeah, the Discovery Center.
who
No.
the hell was playing there? Oh my gosh, who was Sebastian Bach in?
Skid Row.
Skid Row. It was Skid
Oh.
Row was playing, right? And we were backstage. It was a big all day thing. We were backstage because we were very early in the day. And Skid Row was out on stage, and my drummer Matt and I were completely out of beer and booze and everything. They were not selling anymore because Skid Row was now on stage. It was the main event. And so I snuck into Skid Row's dressing room and took a bunch of wine and beer, and we took their meat and cheese tray and a bunch of Reese's Pieces, and we were on the side of the stage drinking their wine, eating their meat and cheese, eating their Reese's Pieces, watching Skid Row play. And it was the best backstage food ever
Oh,
because it was
no.
so ridiculous to even be in that
Right.
situation.
Wow, it's not what I expected to hear.
Yeah. So we stole from Skid Row.
Man, out of all the
Yeah.
things I thought we weren't going to talk about, that was one I never imagined.
Sorry.
Some of the best backstage catering I ever had was at the Excel Center. I think it was the Excel Center backstage with Slipknot, because Slipknot used to be clients of the company I used to co-own years ago, and they bought gear from me. So going backstage at a Slipknot show was really cool, but that was some of the best food I ever had.
Do you remember what they have?
No, I knew you were going to ask what the
Oh.
heck was it, but I get to remember this food was incredible.
Yeah.
And then Sean, who goes by Clown, he's like the lead guy, nicest guy in the world. And then you see those guys go up on stage as Slipknot with the mask on, and
Yeah.
he's got a baseball bat pounding the heck out of kegs, and it was just such a
I know the
sensory overload show. It
I know
was
the
so great.
keyboard player's dad. He lives in Quincy. He lives in
Yeah,
my
that would
hometown
be- yeah.
because they got big in Iowa, right?
Yeah,
Iowa
they're,
City,
They're
I think.
based out
Maybe
of Iowa,
Davenport,
still
yeah,
to this day.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he's a
great guys.
That's kind of funny too, because your story of you not remembering what you ate, but remembering all the band members' names.
Right.
I'd be the opposite. I'd be like, oh, this band Slipknot played. They stay at my house. I made them this cool shit.
Right.
It's so good. It's like roasted them some beets and did this and that. Oh, made some serious honey mustard with the coarse ground mustard. It's like, what are their names? I don't know.
got different priorities.
I do love food. I'm
Right.
food motivated. I'm like my old dog. Yeah.
You're like any dog.
I am like a shelter dog.
100% are a dog.
Ooh, careful.
Okay.
Yeah, but who puts a
Gosh darn,
Shelf
gravity
there.
always bringing me down.
Darn it.
All right, I got a quick dumb story. I had a burger. I can't even remember where it was from, but I'm a man who optimizes his time, you know? And picture this, high school choir concert, 2013, 14, whatever. At my old school up in Aurora, Minnesota, there we had the teacher's lounge was like right by our stage. And I was in the back row with the basses and the tenors, and we had a bunch of really tall altos that would be right in front of us, like 5'10", 6 foot, real tall ladies. And I'm a pretty short guy, which has its perks. Because I was in the back row and, you know, they were doing a number that was like all girls. So I just dipped, you know, middle of a song, I just kind of had the tenor and the bass next to me, kind of seal the gap as I went. And the teacher's lounge right off stage, I went and fired up a burger I had there. I was going to eat it after, but I was like, I've got like a 5-minute gap. So anyway, I go out and I'm just eating this burger on stage at this choir concert. I didn't tell my director this story till years after I graduated too, but I think he loved it. But I had a solo in the next song after this girl's. So what gets kind of crazy is that I'm mid-bite, and sure enough, and they finish their song, they're clapping. And then they're like, and all I hear is my director saying, and this next one will feature Steve Solkela as the soloist, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
oh, dear. So I'm trying to get her going. And it was one of the most proud moments of my life when it was a Christmas concert. They're getting right to the part where it's a bass baritone solo.
Were you a soprano?
I was a baritone. I was a baritone in
could tell.
'97, and now I'm a bass. And
That's what all those burgers do.
I felt like
Start smoking.
Indiana Jones or something. The ball's rolling, and I'm just chewing, trying to get her done before my solo. And it was like literally less than a measure before I gulp. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. And it was one of the most epic moments of my life, and it involved a burger.
I had a burger last night, and I
Oh,
had to just lay down for a while afterwards. I was like, oh, that was a lot, and I just sat and I
Or
was like,
was it
I'm
the
done for the
bun?
night. It might have been the bun.
Or was
you're
it the
right.
sugar
Actually, you know what
and
it,
the ketchup and
no.
the bun?
So what it probably was the 3 onion rings that they put on top of it that I kind
Oh.
of had to crush down into a.
You know what
like a
they say?
single
It's not
thing.
the burger, it's the fries that gets you.
And I also did eat a lot of.
Yeah, there
But
you
even
go.
still,
There it is.
yeah.
There's
I
the
couldn't
truth.
imagine going out and like doing something.
Man was not meant to run a marathon after a burger, that's for sure.
Maybe just the burger, not the bun, the fries, the
Yeah,
7 beers.
The meat alone ain't the part that makes you want to sit down and take a
It's all
nap.
the breading stuff that
Yeah.
screws you.
So they say.
Now it's to the health moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about complex
ate
carbs.
A double galley buster at the Anchor.
Oh, gross.
God damn.
And then I have eaten an Inger Tower burger with the 3 pounds of fries over at Gronk's.
Jesus, take
How
the
many
wheel,
ounces is that?
That's
Did
like
they tell ya?
the burger is 5 pounds. The Inger Tower
Holy
burger is
cinnamon
5.
What?
Toast.
It's a 5-pound burger?
Right, and 3 pounds of fries, and you have to
You
eat
could
it
work
all.
out with that thing.
Huh?
You could lift
You
weights.
could lift weights with that burger.
I literally
Pour
got
tries
like
on it.
I literally
Oh,
got
dear.
a grease high from that thing for like
Yeah, geez.
I was in a funk for like 2
Hope you
days.
didn't light a
You've,
cigarette.
you've done some competitive eating, huh?
I'm not competitively. I'm just a volume
He's always
eater.
competing against himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Volume eat, yeah.
I'm a volume eater.
Wow.
I did it. Yeah, I've done 2 of those competitive eating things.
Really?
You never walk away from there.
No,
the
you never
same.
feel right after you do it.
Competitive eating is that's such an American thing. I love it.
Oh
Hell
gosh.
yeah.
I did it one time drunkenly at Carmody's after a damaged snowboard event, and I got all distracted. I only ate 1 hot dog, and I started talking to people, and they all were real mad at
And
me
it was on a timer.
because I was like,
so
I just don't even like hot dogs, actually.
Yeah.
Oh man.
the meal is not over when I'm full. The meal is over when I hate myself.
Nope,
Gobble till you wobble.
nope, nope,
Love
nope.
it.
Nope.
I dig it like an archaeologist.
Dig it like an archaeologist.
Hey,
Adam
wait, that's
Herman.
relevant.
Nice segue.
Okay, great.
Went to-
What y'all want to know?
Well, we just
about
won-
a year ago. You were in Ireland digging up stuff.
Oh no,
It wasn't
Wow.
doing it. It was yes, I was in Ireland
Yeah.
work. That was where I did my field school.
Yep.
And it was I was doing more survey and like, do you guys want to get super boring? Because
No.
it's about to.
Boring to us.
But
We're
it was
thrilled.
Yeah.
like GPR ground penetrating radar on 12th, 13th century on a monastery in Galway. It was cool.
Yeah.
I stayed in a tent for a couple weeks on Inisheer and on those islands. The Banshees from Inisherin. That was where I was at basically. It was awesome and cool.
What was the month?
It was June. June, part of
That's
July.
warm.
I mean, it was six
That's warm.
weeks. It wasn't. It was
Compared
crazy.
to January.
Yes, totally. But it was
I
just
I think it was
wind,
gotta be
sideways
better.
rain. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw the sun twice there in 6 weeks. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Dear.
bonkers.
Fall off that cliff, you probably will not survive.
No.
No.
Oh my gosh. It was cool. It was. I love doing it. It's really
It's
interesting.
like the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm surprised they don't just have it all blocked off.
I'm surprised too. You
You can just
walk right
you
off
can
that
walk
sucker.
along the cliffs some more, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh geez, ah.
Yeah, a
I mean, it's
strong
like-
gust of wind.
It's
could
like
take
here's,
you off that
here's
thing.
a nice Guinness. Here's some whiskey.
Oh,
Yeah, go
dear.
hike if you like.
Yeah, I was
So
so
it's
surprised.
like-
Hike if you like.
I was just like, wow.
Some of those old, there you have like a bunch of old Bronze Age circle forts too that were built onto the cliffs there near Cliffs of Moher, or kind of similar to that. And people just lived in these things on the edge of a cliff that drops you.
Yeah.
I mean, just if a good fog is there, you don't know how far you're falling. Like it's so
Wow.
spooky.
Well, in those olden days, they had to keep the adrenaline up.
I
so
guess.
You never know who's coming,
I
so you always
guess.
got to be ready to die.
Wild. Just a wild. Could you imagine that?
It's
What
like
a wild-
pre-nitrous. It's like getting cred,
Yeah.
old school cred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have so many girlfriends if I get close to this cliff.
I'm
Whoops,
sure that
got a
wasn't
little too close.
That's probably a game
There
that
goes
was
that
played.
lineage.
Well,
Oh dear.
The entire time.
isn't that the way it goes though?
That's right. That's evolution.
I know. Such is life. Sometimes you just live too close to a cliff.
Yeah.
It happens.
Have you done any Zoom podcasts?
Yeah, we
Where
used,
you've had to
yeah,
do the clap?
I used to do it exclusively over Discord actually, because
Oh, thank you,
one person
Jason.
lived in North Carolina, the other person lived in Maine, the other person lived in Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was all over, and this was 2017 to 20, and I think we ended. in
Oh,
2020.
okay. So it was a while ago.
So yeah.
So did you do the all right? Everybody clap together. 1, 2, 3.
Well, actually,
and you sync it.
Yeah, we tried that. Yeah.
The guy I do the Oddville review with,
Mhm.
John. He lives in Santa Fe,
Mm,
and so there's that time zone difference. And he records through the Zoom as well, and it's always so difficult to like if one of us has a guest in the other spot and then getting everybody talk.
Yeah.
It's really fun because it devolves into a just drunken mess sometimes, which
So-
is really fun in a
Oh,
podcast.
I love.
Yeah.
Man, drunk podcasts are so much fun.
Yeah.
At
the time.
I've done well. Yeah, and the last one I did, I was the next day. I was I was at work and I was just like
Oh,
kind of like
yeah.
slumped over and I had to keep locking up the gallery to go run to the bathroom and then
Yeah.
come back and it was awful. A solution to your problem you just mentioned though, what we
Yes.
found is that if you record like a master audio, everyone can kind of just clap whenever,
Mhm.
and then if everyone records their own individual audio, you
Yes.
sync to that.
That's
and then,
what we ended up doing.
okay, good.
Because you're right. Because it was
It
a
makes it-
nightmare of like,
because otherwise timing that with like
yeah.
latency and everything, ugh,
Yes.
nightmare.
Yeah.
I would never.
Anyways, podcasting 101. Sorry.
There you go.
I guess that's the thing about trying to do this.
It's all learning.
Everyone's
Mhm.
learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
You're bringing gear to shows. You're backstage, a Bayfront. You're making promos for shows.
Mhm.
Really cool ones sometimes.
Every now and then. I don't know what I'm doing, but at least I'm funny.
His YouTube channel,
Oh gosh.
Steven's YouTube channel, is the greatest thing in the world.
What is the channel?
It's called Solkela Maniacs. I didn't really know anything about YouTube until I got an email that I'm like on the cusp of actually making money on it. So I was like, oh sheesh. There
have
it's
that.
on the bottom of that. Yeah, there's a
SOLKELAMANIAX.
You betcha. I just handed him a rectangle for those listening. A business card.
It's got some hieroglyphics on it or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
wanted to spell it out, make sure I had it.
It's
Not
going
for the
pretty
listener.
good too. I
Right.
didn't expect it to do well, but you'd be amazed how even when booking gigs, people are like, "Yeah, you looked through like your whole darn YouTube channel before we decided to book you," and I'm like,
Oh no.
"Did did you see the dumb ones? And they're like, yeah, those are our favorite. I'm like, oh, good.
Oh, good. A couple of the dumbest are swimming under.
Oh, God. Yeah. My stuntman career is the most easy to talk about. I did one where you cut holes in the ice and you swim from one to the other underneath the ice. In Finnish, they call that avanto uinti.
In
Ice
English, we
swimming.
call it kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you're crazy.
Yep.
Okay.
For views, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
Well,
what it
in
is.
general,
Okay.
too. A lot of kids were dropped. I was
Oh,
punted.
wow.
But anyway, yeah. My favorite one visually was one called the cupcake stunt, where I had a mullet at the time, and I put my hair up into a big braid at the top of my head, and we doused it in lighter fluid, and they lit my hair on fire.
Ooh.
And I did a little flip into the lake when I started to feel it. That was
Anything for the tube, man.
anything for the tube.
That's
yeah.
right, baby.
But yeah. You never put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. So my success in the YouTube is already felt. It's a diary to me. You know, it's something when I'm 90. I ain't gonna make it to 90, but if I make it to 27, then I'll look back on it happily. But
Jeez.
that's what it is to me. If I make money off of YouTube someday, cool.
Hey, man.
But it's mostly a diary.
It just helps you like just keep doing what you're doing anyway. I suppose.
Yeah.
If you can just get that extra little bit of like passive income or whatever.
When you look at things, it used to be time. You know, if you
Yeah.
sell all your objects, that's time is money, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you are going to pursue your artistic dreams with everything you've got, you got to be ready to sleep in your van. You got to remember to sell all your stuff. You got to remember to cut out some things.
Mhm.
Like, to me, discipline ain't easy, but it's like a necessary factor of succeeding, especially in art.
You
So,
do,
Mhm.
but it's okay to have a plan to get out of that. It's okay to
Yeah.
have a plan to take your art to a level to where you don't have to sleep in your van.
Yeah.
You know, like that's okay. People get there's a thing, you know, where people, if they are too successful, people really despise them, and I just
Sell out,
sell out. Yeah, and it's like, nah, you know, people are doing it. You know, I've slept in a van plenty of times. Don't get me wrong, but I don't now,
Yeah.
and I won't go back to that.
I think some of the worst times is when you decide not to sleep in the van.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, it's a beautiful night. I'm just going to sleep on the roof of the van. And then a torrential rain all of
Oh,
a sudden.
no.
Or like a
Red
million
beer.
spiders. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
look, there's a mattress under this tree in the park. I'm just going to sleep here. Yeah,
Oh,
a million spiders and a
Mosquitoes, too.
questionable mattress.
That's how you get Lyme's disease.
That's
Yeah,
how-
yeah.
or
Get the
something.
deer ticks. Having their way with the other deer ticks. Oh, geez.
Well, you know, speaking of like the diary thing, though, Jason, Shirley, you probably agree with that too. Like,
Yeah,
because you and I have been
podcasts.
playing music for a long time, and not as long as some, because some people are much older than us. We're still youthful, very youthful. But you know, you look back at your albums that you put out in the past, and it is very much like a diary in a sense, because you do see how you've grown as a person when you listen back.
I put diaries in the same category as journals, and I
Mhm.
burn them because I cannot
Oh yeah,
imagine
we've
reading
talked
those
about this.
again. No.
You know,
Oh.
I not too long ago, I went through. I have tons of old comics and cartoons that I've drawn. Just like, I mean, I've been just full of paper. It's ridiculous, but it's really fun to go through them and kind of go, oh, look at how like angry I was
Yes.
when I was like 11.
I'm just too
And, like-
embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed today. I just want to keep going
Well,
to tomorrow and
I feel
Don't-
like
not
that
be
about-
so
Don't
embarrassed.
throw them out, because when you're old
I burn
someday,
'em.
they're
They're
going to
done.
be
I
like,
feel like-
for real, you're not going to want to look back.
That's why I
someday?"
hang out with Vaco. He remembers things. Well, no,
Yeah.
he doesn't either. But
I was gonna say, yeah.
no, he doesn't.
Yeah,
but
just wait till your
Tina
friend with
does.
a good
Tina
memory gets
remembers,
Alzheimer's, and then everything's all just
there's social
combobulated.
media. Someone took a photo.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Facebook Memories has done a lot of decluttering of the diary crowd and the scrapbooking crowd.
Do you have any songs that you feel that way that are recorded and out? Like,
Standing for, yeah.
I
yeah.
do. Yeah,
Oh,
big
yeah.
time. Lots
But
of
I
them.
mean, think of the hundreds that I'm burnt.
yeah, me
That
too.
could have been
Yes.
songs that I luckily destroyed.
Oh yeah, I've written more songs. I've written more songs that will never see the light of day than I
They're
have.
so
released,
gross. It's
by
like,
all means.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Out.
I was thinking about this morning about how it's interesting how much of art is never seen.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just do it
The
yourself. You're
glacier,
isolated.
there's
Yeah.
that iceberg. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's and yeah, an iceberg is a perfect comparison.
Yeah, it is.
And it's really, I find it frustrating then, kind of going back to the money thing of like how it's hard to put like a monetary value
Yeah.
on all that work that's being done because it's like it's invisible.
Yeah, it's
It
hard to
is
quantify
invisible.
it. Yeah.
Sean Erzbaumer used to have this great quote when he was in Ballyhoo. He's like, when you play in a band, you don't get paid to play music. What you're really getting paid for is schlepping all that gear. Every time you move your guitar amp in and out of your Dodge K car and stuff, he goes, when you finally do get to play music, that's the bonus.
That's
Yeah.
why when you're not sleeping in your car, you're a sellout.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got to pay those dues.
I got to tell you, man, I used to, when I started with my best friend Jim and I started playing music when we were in high school, and we would go to like Warrensburg, Missouri, 30, 40 minutes away from where we lived to play a gig at a place that, we were 17 years old, and he had a little hatchback, and we put a whole PA system
Right.
and us and 2 guitars in there. And I took that whole ride in the passenger with the seat basically forward. Like I wasn't even sitting up. I was leaning forward for 45 minutes to go play for 4 people and the owner of the bar. Like I'm okay not going back to that.
And you got $25 each.
Oh, maybe. But we did get a shot of tequila because the bar owner assumed we were of age if we were playing at a bar.
Yeah. Skipping
So,
school
you
to
know,
come to the bar.
Yeah, so we drive all the way back, get back home at like 11:30 at night. And I wake up and go to high school the next day.
Nice.
Isn't that the path though? It's like, where can I go and get into spots I can't get into now
Oh, yeah.
and grow that network early?
Mhm.
I mean, that
Oh,
to me is why I was playing the Red Sea Bar when I was like 18.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, are you guys going to card everyone? Because we don't have anyone at the door. It's like, yeah, we'll card everyone.
I remember being like 19 or 20 years old playing at a place called Cervantes in Denver. And it was the first time I had to sign a,
W-2.
no, it was something for being
I-
underage.
Oh,
But you're allowed in there. And I was like, what the hell is this? I've been doing this for like 3 years. I've never been carded or anything. Like, no, if anybody's under 21, you have to sign this form. I can't think of what it was called, but it was like,
I've
I-
never
I
even
still
heard
don't.
of that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a
Yeah.
Minnesota thing.
Yeah,
here.
well, it
you
was
can
in
see
Denver.
over the booth.
it wasn't a Missouri thing either. And I got to Denver. I was like, what? This is
Yeah.
crazy. Like, you're not going to let me drink?
That's one of the morally profound states.
I
they're
already have
trying
a
over
problem.
there.
I have to be able to continue this. I can't quit now.
I
Yeah.
must.
I remember that too, being 16, just telling my high school teachers,
Yeah.
I gotta leave early today. I got a gig down in Duluth. You can't just leave for a gig. Well, they're paying me to go there. How much are you paying me to stay
Right.
here in chemistry
That's
or
exactly it.
pre-calc or whatever?
Exactly it.
Yep.
But it was honors pre-calc.
Oh God, no, not for me.
No.
I was in pre-calc, like algebra 8 for seniors, and then you tell them it's
Oh,
pre-calc.
I was
Little-
never in any of
little
those fancy
preemie
classes.
Sokola.
Oh,
Mine were,
jeez.
my classes were all just math. Like
Yeah.
that was
It
It
just
was
dumb.
English that I had a hard problem with.
Really?
I love stories, but I just don't like to read.
It
That
can
is so
get dry,
surprising.
yeah.
I like real stories or books on tape.
You've heard this one. I took calculus just so I could write some good songs in the back. 'Cause if it's calc, they're going to be like, you took calculus? Oh, yeah. Because it was my sacrifice class. I'd sit there in the back writing songs because I had already given up. It's
I took
September
honors
8th.
calculus just because they said you got less homework.
In calculus?
I don't think it was true.
In honors
I know.
calc.
I feel like every math class is the maximum amount of homework you can
I
get.
kind of
It's
like
it's
math
just
though. Math
constant.
math is kind of fun to me. I don't know.
Disgusting.
Find
I always
X.
treated
I mean,
Circle
it's
the
not
X.
anymore because I
Give
got to
them
the
a picture
point
of my
where
ex.
they.
I found her.
I've been ejected from like higher end math, but at the beginning it seemed really fun until a point.
Yeah.
I was all about the
Algebra.
algebra
It's like a
and
puzzle, you know?
geometry, and then it got to like then they started using words and they made you read.
Yeah.
And it was like blah 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 blah. I'm like,
I thought that same
Wow,
thing.
wow, 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 wow,
I
wow.
like algebra because I like puzzles. I like
yeah,
I like geometry because I like billiards.
right, yeah.
I like trigonometry because nobody likes trigonometry. I'm done with this math stuff. Yeah, I made it to 8th grade and then pulled the plug on that. Oh,
But
dear,
music
red
is
beer.
but music's all math based.
It is.
Well,
I was always
It's
surprised
not
when
math,
people told
it's
me that.
subdivision. That's dumb. I
You don't
hate
agree
that.
with that though?
No, it
I
is.
disagree with
It is absolutely numbers based, but yet
Yeah.
I never used math when I played it. It was just a natural.
Right.
I agree
thing.
with that.
Yeah.
It's more like a heartbeat or like
It's a rhythm.
Right.
a
But you're right.
rhythm.
But you're right. It is math
Mhm.
because there is a pattern in numbers and everything. And I just.
But
was
it doesn't
always-
take the math brain. Like when you're doing math, like it's like,
You don't think subconsciously that's happening though?
I would say, yeah.
Subconsciously, I can't make change for people, and that's the easiest math.
Well, because
So
I
that
had
is
a
like
great. I was setting you up for a great segue here, and now you just totally screwed.
They have a whole segment of music.
I've never needed the quadratic equation on stage at Wussow's before. I'll
They
tell you
have
that much.
a whole section of music
even
that's
though,
math
even though you
rock.
might have been doing it,
You
not
know what I
that
mean?
would
Was
know.
that
Like
C
math
squared.
jazz and math rock and prog rock and all that stuff is very math.
because I was going to go to
math-centered.
and I'm like,
But those are
music-
also nerds.
Yeah.
music is math based, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, and then I was going to say, and now you own a restaurant. You know, there's a lot of math in that because you got to figure out proportions and change, and he pretty much screwed that whole thing.
I
up
thought
already.
it's more about you have to figure out how many days it'll take to fix an ice machine.
There's that.
how many cups of coffee you're gonna have to sell to pay to fix the ice
ice
machine.
machine.
yeah.
How many times you already sold those cups of coffees for all the other broken things?
You know, that's what I always thought too. Like even with merchandise and stuff, the music. Like I always thought it was just gonna be singing. Now I'm thinking like, okay, I have to sell these many books to buy more books. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm trapped in a circle.
All your possessions.
no
used
way
to
out
be
of this
time.
thing.
It's a Ponzi scheme that you're not
It's-
part of the scheme.
No,
of.
I'm both
Yeah,
top
you're
and
the
bottom of this
victim, yeah.
pyramid. What the hell happened here?
Exactly.
I'm the Ponzi and the scheme.
Oh,
Whoa. Oh. But it makes a cool sound. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's like the sound right before your tire falls off going down the freeway.
Well, that's what I've been hearing for the last.
I've unfortunately experienced that more than once. In my
I
life.
know, me too. No.
I saw a tire on the side of the road on the way here, and I know nothing else to signify there was any sort of other car that it was attached to.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be the one I've always been looking for because I was going down the hill one morning.
It's Jason's tire.
It did say
Yeah.
Jason on the side.
No,
I
it
was
wasn't
wondering
even
if it
my
was-
tire. I was
Wouldn't
just
that
going
be
next
funny?
to this car, going down Masaba at 5 a.m. Sun's coming up. It's like, bum, ba, ba, you know, like it's like a Disney's like symphony in the background. Yeah, like the little trees are waking up and everyone's stretching. Little bunnies are like quick getting
Sparrows
a little.
are dressing you.
Yeah, yep.
No, wait, I'm always jealous of your whistling. You always have good whistles.
That's Disney whistle.
But then
That's great.
after it's like instead of man has entered the forest, tire has fallen off the car. And there it goes next to me. I'm like, whoa, this car is crashing almost into me. So I kind of like keep going, and then their tire falls off, and it's next to me, and the birds are still going. They were like, whatever, tires fall off every day. That thing just started hanging out by me, and then I was watching it, and we were having this little moment, and then
Then it passes you.
and then it's like,
what the heck happened?
yeah, it's like, oh, really? It's like high school. It's like God, fine. And then it just started going wild, and it started bouncing,
God,
going
this is
down
like,
Masaba.
This is the story I have.
It was like
No,
My
you
experience.
you were the bouncing.
No.
Weren't you? Didn't you get
this
hit?
tire was going
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
fast. It was crazy. I bet it was. I mean, going 100 miles an hour at the end. It was going. Every time it hit the ground, it would bounce so high. I would say like 20, 30 feet in the air, like insanity. And then so I went from like this like la 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 happy bird sound to, oh, that sucks for you. Oh, that's kind of cute. Oh, hi. Oh no. Oh, wait, don't hurt anyone. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop it. Oh no. And then I was like, oh no, because it's like at this point you were going fast and you watch it going in front of you and jumping up and like cars are stopping at stop signs and going. It's like, don't go. Ha, bonk! It almost squishes a car and it's like, but
geez.
luckily it's like so early, almost no one's out and I don't know where that tire went. So I was wondering where that went. Maybe it's the one you were looking for.
Mine was in Brooklyn Park many, many years ago. I was working a B-52's Pretenders concert.
Oh,
And
they just retired.
yeah, so should I. So I'm driving in this residential neighborhood very early. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, you know. And I'm like in this Volkswagen Golf, you know, which I fit at that time a lot of PA in, but not at that particular gig. But I'm driving and everything's going great. And all of a sudden, the back of the car drops, you know, poof. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. And then the car's still moving. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see this tire roll by. And I'm like,
That's your tire.
and I'm like, that's kind of interesting, you know? And then, so now my story, this experience becomes very similar to yours. It's like, wait a minute. that's my tire.
Is that a Yokohama? What the?
You know, and
Oh,
then
no.
then the thing jumps a curb,
Oh, no.
rolls into this guy's yard, hits a shrub, bounces off the shrub. And I'm like, oh, this thing's gonna stop now. It's gonna fall down like this microphone, and then it's gonna stop. But no, it hits the shrub, then hits the house,
Oh no.
rolls off a planter, and I'm like, how much kinetic energy does this thing have? It should be like dying by now. And then busts the planter, hits the garage door, and it sounds like a gunshot went off because because it's a metal garage door. And I'm sitting in the car again.
Oh,
I can't do anything. You know, I'm like, what?
There's nothing you can do. Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden the thing rolls, hits the chain link fence, bounces off the chain link fence, ricochets, and literally like rolls back in front of me by like 5 feet. And I'm like, wow.
Did you put it back on?
No, because
Yeah,
the whole
it rolled back onto the vehicle.
Came off. It was
Oh
crazy.
yeah, I figured.
So then I'm like,
you're still going. You're gonna do a lot
I'm
of
like,
damage.
I get out of the car and I'm trying. I'm like,
It
what do I
boomeranged
do?
all the way
know,
back on
then
the
all-
axle, and he drove away.
Oh,
But then all of a sudden, this guy pops out of the house, like the stereotypical sitcom like look. He's in the white bathrobe, you know, that's open with his underwear on, going, "You blow up my house and you're gonna drive away." I go, "Dude, I'm not going anywhere."
Your house is fine, dude. My car's way more screwed up.
Yeah, right.
I didn't blow
The
up your house.
insurance company said I did like something like $50,000.
Oh, that's nuts.
Oh, come on.
to like everything that got
Did
damaged.
you break a little wiener off a statue?
I don't know.
What'd
Yeah.
you do?
Would you take his whole roof off? That's so much money. That's,
What did you
that's
do?
impossible.
I'm like, really?
Insurance is such a scam.
Exactly.
It was a gold garage door.
Yeah.
It was a pretty wild deal.
You detuned my garage door in E, and now it's E
That
flat.
door, though, I mean, that garage door was like just caved in.
Oh,
It was
awesome.
like-
Well, you wrecked the
Cool.
garage door.
It was
yeah.
made of
And that planner
George
was like
Washington's
powder.
teeth.
It could have been made by American
Da Vinci?
workers,
Yeah, Da Vinci
you know,
done that.
one by one.
But it
like,
was the weirdest
putting
thing
their
'cause
tears
I was powerless.
and
I didn't
hopes
know
and
what to
dreams
do. I was
Yeah.
confused.
fabric.
There's nothing you can
And
do.
it's like, this tire's got to stop. You know, it's like
And it
literally
just
got to
don't,
stop here
yeah.
at some point. You know, isn't there a movie about a tire that goes over?
It's like called like rubber or something.
Yeah,
like that.
rubber, that's it, yeah.
What? How did you know that too? You guys are like
Oh.
on a weird
yeah, you're
wavelength.
the
Yeah, you-
youngest
yeah, what's
guy
going
here
on?
by decades.
Decades.
You're 24, right?
Yeah.
You get to be my age, you don't remember how old you are.
Oh, whatever.
Did you say earlier something about wait until you're 27?
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah, I'm 20. I'm 26. Yeah.
There's gonna be a nipple twisting fight going on here.
Yeah.
Who's
Oh,
Like a-
you
a
young
hazing thing.
bucks.
You, back in my day, the Lakers played in Minneapolis.
that is true.
I knew Betsy Ross personally. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
No,
No, not the same
what
one.
the-
It was a different lady. She
Coincidence.
grew up down the street. She was super nice.
I can't believe you both have a tire story though. That's
Very
nuts.
similar.
Yeah, but yours might have murdered someone.
and mine? I just
Whoa.
watched it, and I don't
Yeah.
know if it murdered.
I mean,
Yeah.
if there had been someone walking at the bottom of Masaba, and there's a sidewalks
That's
down
true.
there, they could have boing boing.
And you were heading down.
But I
Hill
also
on
felt
Masada?
bad for the person next to me that I just. But it was kind of like, well, you're gonna have to wait for a tow truck, and I'm just curious where this tire's going. So I just kept going, and then I thought we were just gonna be friends. It was kind of like, what you doing? And then it was like, it was like, oh.
Yeah,
left
just
in the dust.
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
think your tire maybe got all the way down there, bounced onto a ship. The ship went off.
Oh, there
It
you go.
continued on down. It's still
Wow.
traveling to this day.
Or
man.
knocked over,
Beautiful.
or knocked over
It's in
a,
Paris
a
right now.
poor dude that just like was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on this salty. It's first time to
Yeah.
Duluth.
Maybe
It's
that's why
like-
there's that empty wheelchair down there.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
knocked the guy right
no.
out of it. This is your fault.
Yeah.
It wasn't a miracle after all.
Sometimes it's
Wow.
better to not know the damage that was caused by the tires that come rolling down Masaba at 5 in the morning.
There's way more worse things. Poor little mice every day getting run over, just trying to cross the street.
Mhm. You know, the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese.
I knew we'd have more wisdom in this.
Oh,
podcast.
Yeah.
I'm loaded with all these dumb jokes.
But
and
I do
these
like
dumb
that. I do
philosophies.
like that. It might be the third mouse because the second mouse is like, oh,
Yeah,
sister,
The second
and
mouse has
just
to
gets so
grieve.
sad, has to grieve.
Yeah, you got to compartmentalize it. You can grieve when you're home alone later, but right now you need to what you were here to do.
You are a 2 sandwich kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I got here at Wussow's. I ordered a sandwich first thing, even though I just had lunch. But sometimes you just eat because there's food, you know. It's a miracle I'm not 500 pounds.
Well, is it all the stunt work and whatnot? Are you all...
Yeah, well, I'm actually training. I'm running Grandma's Marathon
wow.
in June, so I got to get cracking on that. I've been really slagging on it, but yeah, I think diet is more important than how much you train. I've been eating a lot of. We were talking earlier about you eat a burger and then your whole day's just shot. I had chicken tetrazzini yesterday, and I was like, tomorrow I'm gonna try harder at eating better, and I haven't yet.
We'll see what
Someday it'll maybe starting in May. I'll try.
Who makes the tetrazzini still?
Up at Grandma's in Virginia, Grandma's restaurant.
That sounds like a grandma's thing.
Yeah, they got a Tuesday special on it. So I usually go in on Mondays for their Grandma's Marathon sketty special. But,
So
Sketty
yeah.
special.
if you're going to run Grandma's Marathon this summer,
mm-hmm.
are you going to run it with an accordion on you?
So I get asked that a lot, and my goal is
He kind
yes.
of did set
Of
up.
course, you get asked that a lot. Well, that's the
Yeah.
Well,
craziest
do
thing.
you know that he actually did this?
Yes,
a 5K?
I know. I do know that.
You
That's
do
why
know,
it's so
okay.
funny.
Oh,
that no one else in the
Technically, you
whole
didn't know this?
no one
Oh,
else
this is a great story.
no one
Oh,
else has ever been
jeez.
asked that question.
No.
No.
No
You-
one
you
in the
should
history of
tell it.
people should ever.
No one
been
even
asked.
asks if I even like. I don't even run. I mean, no
Well,
matter what, it's like
If I'm running, you
handcuff
should
me.
be
I'm not
running
running.
too.
I did sign up for my company's 401k, but I don't think I can run that far.
Yeah, that's,
But sorry, not to derail the accordion.
yeah, wait, so
I
you
wanna
did
hear
it,
this
you did it with a
story.
5 for a 5K?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I can go
technically,
for the center.
I'm the world record holder of the.
By 36 minutes, 46 seconds.
I think it was like 33, 31 or what. It was a little over a half hour. But
Half hour.
Well, to run a 5K
Yeah, okay.
with
yeah.
playing an accordion nonstop the whole time. Yeah, my best 5K without an accordion was like at 18:12 or something.
So it didn't add that much.
So it added a lot, but you know,
Like double.
yeah. And I never repeated a single song either, which I thought was
Oh, wow.
That's
If
even more
If you just
impressive.
had a
That was
simple
more
theme
impressive,
song,
yeah.
you could nail it.
yeah. Well, I
And
was
then
doing
you'd
it.
have
I was
branding
doing, like,
repetition.
Chariots of Fire, bum 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 bum.
That's-
The Rocky song, and just everything I
Yeah.
could think of. It was like,
Yeah, get hyped up and all that.
it'll
yeah.
hype up the runners around
Yeah.
me, and
So he didn't want to pay, he couldn't afford to pay the $77,000 to have Guinness come to.
yeah, I'm not gonna talk trash about Guinness, but
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah,
a darn
that's why I'm
scam.
kinda-
$750 to
reluctant.
be a register for a 5K.
Yeah,
Crazy.
But he did have a friend document, run with him the whole time, and document, film.
Oh, okay.
Had
the
a tandem
whole
bike with a
thing.
camera guy on it.
There you
Yeah.
go. So if you ever save up the dough, if you really want it, you
But
could.
I scoured the internet for anyone else that had even attempted that dumb thing, and nobody else did except me.
Well, that's
I did it once in November and once in August, and it was mostly I got booked to play at the Chisholm all-class reunion up on the range in North Minnesota, and they were like, "We're gonna cut the 5K because we don't have enough people registered." I'm like, "No.
Is
I got
that
an
what
idea.
they said on the website with that accent?
Yeah, in the accent,
Is
they
that-
just
is
say
that-
in the
is that
thick
like-
Minnesota
You
accent.
scroll over that, it's
Yeah.
like, and that's the voice that comes out.
Like you were saying with the old journal die, sometimes I hear it in my accent in high school back when I just hung out with grandparents all the time and spoke Finnish and stuff, and it's like, gosh, you'd think I'm putting it on, but gosh, no, I think I watered it down a ton back when I was a kid, insecure about it. Then I moved to Jersey, and I was like, gosh, I don't want to have them
Oh, God.
accents either.
That must have been a culture shock. for the
Taking my
Jersey
gal to the shore, and you got a little schmutz that, you know.
It was
Oh, my.
it was great culture shock for everyone who met
That
me.
was a good impression. Though. That's good.
So the day, now correct me if I'm wrong. So the day that you did the marathon, you did that at like 7:00 in the morning, right?
No, that was a 5K. I think it was 9
That's
in the
what
morning.
that's what I meant. Yeah, 9 in the
yeah.
morning. Then you came down to the Oldenburg House for the Honeybee Festival,
Oh gosh, yeah.
and you played and hung out for a couple hours.
That was a 4-gig day. That's
Yeah.
right.
That's where I'm
gosh,
going with
that
this.
beat my record. That's
It's
a
like-
lot of gigs.
I'm like, this. So he drove from the range, came down to Carlton, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I was exhausted as soon as I thought that he ran a 5K,
Yeah.
let alone
Yeah.
with or without the accordion. And now he's like got 2 more gigs here after he leaves.
Yeah.
here.
Wow.
I think that day I
that's a
did
hell of a
the
thing.
accordion 5K at 9. I think I played at 1 at the Oldenburg. And I think I played 4 in Chisholm, and I got invited to join the Shimoleski Fun Time Band at 7 or 8. I can't remember.
All in one day.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
which, believe it or not, that's not my record. 5 gig days, my record.
Wow. I've had done 3, and that's.
I had you come in one
Three's
day
too much.
to do a radio show at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I have nothing to live for but
And
the
then,
gig
and then I felt
schedule at
bad
the record
because
show.
he came all the way from the range, and then he was going to play later that night for the Spooktacular at the Thursday Pagan, but there was like 12 hours, and I felt bad for him. So then you came in to the Porchfest parade,
Yes,
part of our
you
parade,
booked me in the
on his
parade.
longboard and serenaded people on the parade route.
Yeah.
And I believe you sold a ping pong table during that time, or no, you sold
Yeah.
something at the library.
I'm a minimalist, so I like to. I got my Facebook page is always popping with junk that I'm trying to get rid of, and even today, my joke is that I never come to Duluth Superior for less than 3 reasons.
Yes.
Even today, the podcast, and I ran my Homegrown set with Kaylee Matuzak. We were for the Berserk
great.
Blondes, our set for Homegrown, and I'm also selling a wardrobe today to a Superior lady. So
I was like,
nice.
that's where I was going with this. What are you selling today? It's because
Yeah.
I know you probably
Yeah.
brought something down here to sell.
So I'm meeting a lady at 7 o'clock tonight down in Superior. She's buying my wardrobe from my
At the public library?
Facebook rummage shop. Well, we'll probably. I think I'm going to deliver it to her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Because the
Yeah.
last 2 times it was the public library.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine being a buff 26-year-old guy and you sell it
Yes, I
to
can.
a lady and she's like, and you just like, here you go, just throw it in her arms. No, I'll go deliver it. It's
Yeah,
not
I mean that's fair enough. Yeah.
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 Moral of the story: my
I can haul
logistics
carpet.
are all over the place, but I like to, get a lot done in a day.
You really pack it in. Yeah.
I don't sleep.
Speaking of packing it in, we're running out of time, so
Yeah, you gotta go to work.
we need a quick freaking opera.
You want Italian?
We need
French,
the
German,
aria of the podcast.
Something to do with dirty.
Jeez. Something to do with dirty? I don't know. I need dirty opera. Well, I got one that's about a guy who's in love with his maid, but he's trying not to be in love with his maid. I'll
Well-
do that one.
She cleans the dirt, so there you go.
Sono imbrogliato, io già sono imbrogliato, io già sono imbrogliato, io già. Un certo che nel cuore, che dirtene me non so se amore, o se pietà. Sento un che poi mi dice, Uberto, pensate, un certo che nel cuore fa un imbrogliato io già.
I'm done. That's enough.
What language was that?
That was Italian. It's
Incredible.
from Giovanni Battista
Holy
Pergolesi's
shit,
La Sera Padrona, 1710.
That was awesome.
That was
How many-
incredible.
Anytime I
humana,
see you,
humana.
I always you always say, "Do you take requests?" And I'll go sing some
Yes.
opera, and then you try to mix it up. So the next time I see you and you say any requests, I'm gonna go sing some Klingon opera.
Some
So you're
Klingon
now I'm
opera.
giving you a challenge. You're gonna have to
Yes.
learn some Klingon.
I
Klingon.
got plenty. Wait, Klingon?
Klingon,
Oh,
like
I
Star
thought you
Trek.
said clean opera. I can do clean opera.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm
What
gonna
is
say Klingon.
what is Klingon? Is that Star
Clean,
Trek?
clean
That's Star
opera
Trek.
is when you clean off the Klingons.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll learn some Klingon. I don't know
Hey,
what that is.
There's actually a lot of
dated a few.
Klingon operas. I'm
Klingon
not trying to be
opera?
funny.
For
they're
real?
Actually, yes.
And is that's Star Trek, right?
Yeah, that's Star
Okay.
Trek.
Yeah, and
No, it's Starch Trek.
I
Star
grew up without TV. Well, I never grew up.
There's
But,
too
yeah,
many
yeah.
layers there. I love that so much that you said that, Jason. And I want to highlight that joke very much because it was so
Yes.
dumb.
It's so
It
dumb.
makes me so happy.
You're you're not even a dad, you're a grandpa. You're gonna have a sound effect like this.
Yes. Klingon opera. Klingon. It's from Starch Trek.
Starch.
Well,
I get it.
Can't believe
So
you do
dumb.
that. Just slapping your cheek.
as we're wrapping up, then, is there anything that anyone wants to promote or pitch or anything?
Well, we have to mention Adam's
Of course.
newest book
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Please.
and his
promote that.
oldest book,
Yeah.
besides archaeology and musicianship and good camaraderie and rolling with it.
Podcast.
Oh yeah. So the
Podcast. He's got too many things to mention.
The book Villa Leilla is available right next door at Zenith Bookstore and anywhere online where any books are found. And I always try and mention this.
4.2 on Amazon.com.
Is it?
I just looked it up.
Nice.
Wow.
Who the hell gave me a less than 5 5-star rating then.
Well, you'll have to find their address and hunt them
Well,
down.
that's something. Okay, we'll figure that one out. That's for another episode. But I do always try and make
The
sure that
killing
I mention that any independent bookstore, wherever anybody may be, can order the book. And all you have to do is ask them. They can order it. It's very easy for them. So order it through them and not through Amazon.
And
support
this
local
month
business.
in May, when this podcast is airing, you will be the guest
Yeah, I'll be
at
Your
the
Tuesday.
Writers Salon.
yeah right next week,
The
right?
the
this will be
third
going out
Thursday
the sec-
in May.
Oh,
So that'll be in.
I
If
hope-
you're listening to this on the date
Yeah,
comes out,
I knew that.
it's in like 2 weeks.
I think
so what the hell
no,
is my,
in May.
What do I have on my calendar next Tuesday then?
I think you're thinking spaghetti colander, right?
Yeah, maybe I am.
That must be it.
Oh,
That's gotta be
God,
it.
I do have a lot going on. I need to slow it down a little bit.
I hope there's no Tuesday event that I forgot about, but
I
do.
guarantee it's me being unorganized.
That's all right.
I have something just about every night, so it's fine.
Scott Lillo is the one who's been organizing me, and I hadn't heard from him in a couple days, and that's half the problem.
Yeah.
Can we take a minute to appreciate Scott Lillo? Because
Oh,
he,
we can.
Scott is a
All my
Duluth
dreams
legend, an absolute Duluth legend. And I'm going to say it so there's posterity, so it's in recording, because you think I give you shit all the time.
He's going to edit all that
Yeah,
out.
edit it out, by the way. Duluth legend.
So I would like to plug Superior Porchfest in Superior, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Steve, Adam has played a few times in
I
the
filled
past.
in.
Yep.
Yeah. I was never offered a gig. I always
No,
had
you
to-
were offered.
I
a
was
gig.
the
I'm the
fill-in.
most beautiful porch ever.
I know.
That was the feeling.
Which becomes a story within itself. But I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
get
I'm
into
just-
that
That's
story.
not a
Grout.
podcast appropriate.
No,
Grout's the most important part. That keeps it together.
I highly recommend if anybody's available June 1st to come to the Girl Scout landing in Billings Park at the fireside. There's an old historical fire pit there. We do a jam session there. Steve will be there. And a bunch of other local, Darren Bergstrom is going to be there.
Awesome.
Nate Weller,
Awesome.
Son of Mel.
Awesome.
I mean, immense. It's like so many porches,
Yeah.
so
It's
little
such a
time.
cool concept.
And we literally bring free music to different neighborhoods in Superior every 2 weeks. 3 to 4
super
different
cool.
things.
It's super cool.
And have food trucks and bubbles and hula hoops for kids of all ages. And
Bubbles, those bubble machines.
They got hula hoops.
So-
I played Bubble Fest
Add that
once.
to your repertoire.
If you're next to the bubble machine,
It's just
it's not a good thing.
It's just
Right.
a hoop. There's no hula.
It's very sticky.
and it's free. So come on out, enjoy some free music. you know.
Avoid the bubbles.
Yep.
Thank you guys for letting me be a part
Well,
of
yeah,
it.
say so. Thank you guys
Thanks
for
for letting
listening.
me in.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me hang out.
Yeah.
And thanks everyone for listening.
Woo! I'm excited for Porch Fest. That's gonna be good.